I think for your own sort of selfish reasons,
Hmm.
you want to be the best version of yourself that you portray to them, right?
Yeah. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Parenthood, where we keep it real, raw, and radically human. I'm your host, Neha Garg, and each week we sit with parents who are figuring it out, just like you and me. At Parenthood, we don't just talk about parenting wins or Pinterest worthy routines. We go deeper into the chaos, the quiet, the questions, and the rediscovery of self that parenthood brings. If you are tuning in, whether it's while doing dishes or during that rare solo walk, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Now, today's guest is someone who brings beauty and reflection to everything she touches. Lakshmi Madhavan is a visual artist, a contemplative storyteller through her work, and a devoted parent. She has been with her partner Ashwin George for many, many years, and together they parent their 6.5-year-old son Eshaan. Lakshmi describes her parenting experience as a wholesome, bumpy ride with its own set of twists and turns. And I cannot think of a better way to capture the layered, unpredictable journey of raising a little human. So let's begin. Lakshmi, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so glad we could do this.
Thank you so much for having me and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you. Let's just start with you. If you had to introduce yourself today using just three words or phrases, no titles, no labels, what would they be and why?
That's a hard one.
Hmm.
What would I introduce myself as? Wow. I think I would introduce myself as a storyteller.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe storyteller, this storyteller person who loves to sleep. Um, and what else would I tell? And I think just maybe hoarder of lots of material and immaterial things.
Wow. Wow. Let's talk about that. Tell us about your family. Tell us about let's start with Ishan. Tell us about him. What kind of energy or rhythm does he bring to your life? What's he like as a person?
Okay, the easier questions. Eshaan is amazing. And I keep saying that now that he's 6.5. I think every parent you would ask this question to would think their child is amazing. I'm obviously no different. I think I have the most magical human being that I've brought into this world. But I think it's been such a beautiful journey to watch him grow. And now that he's almost going to, go into those ages where he comes into his own and comes
Yeah.
into forming his own sense of self and personality. It's been so interesting to watch. And I think of late, I was telling somebody else the other day, I feel very little or almost no need for a social life because it's like I have this little friend in this person because I can talk
Wow.
to him about anything, right? Like I discuss my day, I discuss what went wrong, what was okay. I discuss my challenges, things even like this morning he was telling me you're falling sick all the time
Hmm.
and he has advice for me and I actually feel like I can just talk to him and he gives me a perspective that I feel no other human can. It's
Wow.
such a it's such a uncolored, such a raw, it's such a vulnerable little perspective that he brings into my world that I'm always amazed.
Yeah.
So I really feel like I've gone into this, little world where I have my studio life and then I come back to my baby and I'm very wholesomely fulfilled because my social needs are met with these being. I'm anyway a bit of like an introvert and I would prefer not to meet people. But now all the more I feel like I have this excuse that, that need of wanting to share your day and talk to. And
Wow.
of course you have your partner.
Yeah.
And that, of course, continues. But I feel like I have this one more beautiful human being who has a whole another different point of view about how he sees the world, looks at the world, and the conversations we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about your partner, you've been with Ashwin for over a decade. That's a beautiful amount of time. Tell us a little
17 years.
Wow. Tell us about your relationship. I know how did you meet, but tell our listeners how did you two meet and what's helped your bond evolve over the years, especially now as co-parents.
Yeah, we've been together for so long. I keep joking with him that we know I to met him as a child only. I was
Yeah.
21 when I met him, and now I'm almost 39. So it's been
Yeah.
such a long journey. And I think even for couples, I mean, with child, without child, it's really often a journey, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're traversing decades, like you've met somebody in your 20s, and you go to your 30s, and you go to your
Yeah.
40s. You're changing, you're
Yeah.
evolving, you're changing in very many facets of your life. And the good or bad thing about this change is that this other person is also changing.
Yeah.
But the pace, the path, the speed might
Yeah.
be completely different.
Yeah.
And many times, these variables might not even be aligned.
Yeah.
So things like when I met Ashwin, as you would know, we all know each other because of a B school.
Yeah.
Then I chose a completely different career path.
Yeah.
Um, and the fact that, we lived as an expat couple because we left India immediately after our marriage. We lived across different parts of the world. The plans that you had when you met was
Yeah.
a certain journey and a
Yeah.
certain kind of life. And then life throws lots of things at you and different things happen. So I'd definitely be lying if it's all been a bed of roses. It's had its own kind of shares of what do you say, curves and forks on the road.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of what me and Ashwin share is, I think, because we met when we were so young, and
Yeah.
the basis of that was a friendship.
Yeah.
I still feel that that's important in any relationship to be able to, beyond the labels we give each other.
Yeah.
Not husband, you're my wife, I expect this of you, and I don't expect this of you, and you should have done this for me, and you didn't do the chores and all of that. I I think on days that I'm really, really mad at him,
Hmm.
there are a lot of days, and I'm sure vice versa. I just go back to the fact that, we were two people who would literally steal time out of those days on campus to sit at this at this canteen and just have innumerable cups of chai and just talk about each other, right? That's
Yeah.
how we met and that's how we fell in love. And I go back to that and I say, this is that same person
Yeah.
evolved in different ways. And I think, if today, like me, today were to meet Ashwin again, I keep asking him, do you think we would hook up? Because we've
Hmm.
become such different people from who we were
Yeah.
back then. But well, these are questions we can keep asking ourselves. But I think for me, the tenets of it has just been, I think there's been a friendship. I think it's the
Yeah.
fact that and I think the most challenging part of this was also becoming parents. So I
Yeah.
have to also tell you a funny story about it. I don't think
Yeah.
Ashwin ever wanted to become a father at that point. And
Uh-huh.
then there was me who, amongst a lot of my friends, I was one of the first who had a child.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I didn't know anybody else who had a child. I had
Mm-hmm.
some Durka, one cousin who I don't speak to, one Durka friend. So I didn't have anybody in my close circle who had gone through the experience.
Yeah.
And but still, I knew at that point in my life I wanted a child.
Yeah.
I was completely convinced that I wanted a child.
Yeah.
It was also that juncture in my life where, a lot of things were up in the air. I had switched careers. I was trying to make my life as an artist.
Yeah.
But somehow I said, I can manage it all. It's fine. I also want a baby.
Yeah.
And I remember having the conversation with Ashwin, and I told him, you know what, it's going to take at least 2 years. Okay, we are both so unhealthy and of all our lifestyles and da da da. So don't worry, it's going to take 2 years. So ऐसा नहीं है कि कल हो जाएगा बच्चा. But वो situation था कि कल हो गया बच्चा. So obviously he felt very cheated. Like
Cheated. Yeah.
he this was. I said, look, I don't know. Like I don't. I mean, unlike most other things in our life which we control, this was a process that I also went into it with the odds, saying that we are actually unhealthy people, and our lifestyle and all of that. This won't happen so easily. And I'd heard a lot of stories around me of people who were trying to conceive for a while, and it didn't
Yeah.
happen. And when it happened to both of us, I was like, hey. And at that point, also, we were in kind of different cities in the sense that I remember when I called him, to say that, listen, I think I'm pregnant, and the words being, I think I am, because
Yeah.
I was also panicking because it suddenly was like, oh, really? This could be it. And it was such an important juncture, because he was in Hong Kong at that time. We just moved to Hong Kong. We just set up the house. I had come back to Bombay for some work or for a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I was obviously meant to go back because it was Hong Kong, the whole plan was, and before that, we were in Copenhagen. So we moved
Yeah.
to Hong Kong. Hong Kong's obviously closer to India. And I struggled a lot in Copenhagen with finding work and finding a rhythm to my work. And then the plan was okay, because we're in Hong Kong, it's much more easier,
Yeah.
connecting with a community.
Yeah.
And also for me to travel back and forth and maintain sort of synergies between the two countries and my work. And I said, okay, great. So we'd set up this beautiful house, and I'd come back just to figure out some work. And then this happened. And then I called him. And he was also making a big choice for his life.
Yeah.
He had to pay up for a B school. He wanted to do a
Oh,
second MBA. And I called him up, and I knew that how important that was also to him. And then I called him up and I said this. And then I remember, for somebody who was not very sure of this journey, he immediately said, okay, okay. So I said, but what about that? I know you have to pay your fees by this evening. He said, obviously, I won't pay it.
wow.
So, in that moment, I felt like for somebody who wasn't very sure of this,
Yeah.
but him saying that, it gave me so much confidence. But he's anyway that guy. He's any
Yeah.
stand-up guy, who'll always do the right thing.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, okay, you're sure about this? He's like, yeah, it makes no sense because I'm going to go further away and then you're here. And like, how does this work?
Yeah.
That was a commitment for about, I think, 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't work out, right?
Yeah.
But for him, he didn't have to think much. But I think in reverse, I would have thought a little more. And I would
Yeah.
have been like, okay, so like where does this leave me and what happened? But he in that moment just embraced it. And we also, in every fight, this comes up. हाँ, ऐसा नहीं है कि this
Yeah.
amazing love story वो वहां से शुरू होता है जब तुमने बोला था and you wanted a child and tarada, and we obviously, as every couple, we have a rhythmic pattern of where fights start from. So that's how it started. I mean, he was not very sure, very clear, even all through the months that I was pregnant, and I was a lot more in India because this
Yeah.
happened in Hong Kong, and for 3 months I wasn't allowed to fly back. But he wasn't very like, like, I'm so excited about this new phase of our life, and this baby is coming, and I would get very irritated also. I'd be like, but little bit excitement you should show. But I think for him, everything changed when he held this little human in his hand.
Oh.
And he's the most amazing father. He's actually way better a parent than me.
Mm-hmm.
And proof is that Eshaan, I think, on his most sick days, on his most like cranky days, he'll always pick Baba over me, because
Uh-huh.
I think Baba has this amazing calm energy, and Baba is very present with him in the moment.
Yeah.
For me, I think I'm also learning and growing through this process. Where I think now I'm a little bit more favorite than Baba, but it would really bother me a lot. I think for me it was that, the minute he stopped breastfeeding, and then he felt like, I don't need any bodily connection to her. His choice was always the father. And it would irritate the fuck out of me, right? I would try to rationalize it with myself and be like, you're being so stupid and foolish. I mean, this is not a competition. But मैं तो competitive हुई. तो ये तो ये like this would really bother me. It would really upset me. I remember moments when I would be crying and telling him, I don't care. Both of y'all go and do this holiday, and I don't want to come. And anyway, he doesn't need me. And I went through all of that. But I'm at a better place, and it's been a journey, I think. Also because for me, I feel like something that parenting doesn't prepare you for, or at least what my journey has been like. Everybody prepared me for what I should do for the pregnancy.
Yeah.
खाओ ये मत खाओ ये करो. Nobody told me anything about what the other side did. So the other side was full like that जय माता दी. मैंने जय माता दी बोल के डुबकी लगा दी. अब जो होगा होगा. And that whatever unfolded was like, okay, nobody told me this is what it is, and this is how hard it is, because I had a latching issue.
Yeah.
Ishaan latched for almost the first 1.5 months.
Wow.
There was so much agony and trauma with that because I had thyroid. I had a major bout of, I want to say PTSD, but that's not the word. I'm
Yeah.
brainstorming on what is the word. What is the word?
Postpartum depression.
Postpartum depression. Yeah. I think I really went through all of it. And I think because you in that moment don't realize it,
Yeah.
you don't realize how bad it is, right? But like a year back, my mother-in-law called me and said, Lakshmi, can I connect you to one of my friend's daughter? So I said, okay, what about? So she said, she's also just had a child and she's going through this severe postpartum. And I told my friend that my daughter-in-law was the right person to speak to because hers was so terrible. So I was a bit shocked. I was like, really, auntie? Mine was terrible. She's like, you don't remember? It was so bad. It was so bad. And for me, it was a bit like, you're talking about me? I know I had it, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize for the people around how hard and bad it was because you are going through it.
Yeah.
And then I asked Ashwin, and he's like, yeah, you were like crazy. It was crazy to just handle you and things that would tick you off and all of it, right? So for me, it was a bit of outer body also. I was like, कि मेरे बारे में बोल रहे इतना बुरा तो ठीक है. So I think for me, it's been a real roller coaster. And then I think coming to my original point of, um, I don't think I was prepared for a lot of what happened post. I was very prepared for the pregnancy.
Yeah.
The post, I just felt like everything hit me all at once, like the latching issue. I had a very colicky baby, and
Mm-hmm.
a baby who wouldn't sleep more than 1.5 hours at a stretch, who
Wow.
wouldn't take the bottle. So that sleeplessness and everything tested me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you get out of it, then comes the another. So each year is another set of challenges.
Yeah.
And I think also parenting is also a very triggering journey if
Yeah.
you haven't resolved a lot of your own childhood traumas.
Yeah.
So today I have the tools and the awareness to know that when I'm dealing with Eshaan and dealing with one of his big feelings, so to speak,
Mm.
and they go through a lot of these big feelings these days. Today I know how to sort of disconnect myself
Yeah.
from that feeling and that person and not make it about me.
Yeah.
Earlier, what would happen is when he's having a big feeling, suddenly it would trigger me into some moment from my childhood and about what I felt, and then I'm projecting that into Eshan, and it's a big mess of a situation.
Yeah.
Today, I can just step a little away and say, what he's feeling is a unique experience for this person. I don't have to burden him with my feelings.
Yeah.
I have to just hold space for him.
Yeah.
I have to be there to listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't necessarily solve everything for him.
Yeah.
I just have to let him understand how he can best cope with it.
Yeah.
But this was all a big journey because
Yeah.
before that, everything would take me back into something I felt as a child, and then that would upset me and trigger me, and then I am projecting that onto my unit. And, I was stuck in a bit of that loop.
Yes.
And honestly, it was only therapy
Mm.
that helped me even resolve these issues that I was having with Ishan, like, saying, why am I not being chosen?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much it was affecting me.
Yeah.
And there's no space to talk about these things.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
can't go to my mother and say, I'm feeling like a loser today because my child likes my husband more than me. She'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, you don't have anything better to say or what? Like, when I'm saying it aloud, it sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
I didn't have friends who had similar experiences.
Yes.
I really didn't know where to go apart from a therapist. And in many ways, I'm glad
Yeah.
to somebody who could look at all of it objectively and help me kind of work through my big feelings. And I had a lot of big feelings about what was happening.
Yeah.
I think because I went through all that, today I'm at a great place.
Hmm.
And today, now I joke with Ashwin and say, I feel like, the biggest barometer of who he loves more is now he sleeps in his own room.
Uh-huh.
Whose name he shouts out in the middle of the night. Every time I hear that mama, I'm just like, yay, I got chosen. So yeah, it's been this, yeah, happy, fun, sad, challenging journey for me.
And how has Ashwin been through all of this?
You know what? His EQ is very, very high. So
Hmm.
he's a very like stable, solid rock.
Hmm.
He has his own flaws. I say now the listeners will think mere pati koi bhagwan hai, but he has his own versions of things he's working on. But I think with Eshaan, at least the initial formative years, because he moved back to India, then
Yeah.
COVID, then he was also kind of figuring out his life here.
Yeah.
He got a lot of time with Eshaan.
Hmm.
And I think that time kind of was what led to this beautiful bond. Whereas I was in this dilemma ki I had a baby. Then after I had the baby, I was going to come out of it and just seize the day and seize my life and conquer the world because chalo, 9 months of the pregnancy, my pregnancy was fairly easy. I worked through it. But then the post took a
Yeah.
long time. It
Yeah.
took almost till 9 months. It was 9 months when I did another show.
Oh.
So I felt like it was my time to come out and, get back to everything. But again, it was a very humbling sort of life moment because then there was COVID.
Yeah.
So you were back to being in the house doing the same thing. And I was damn frustrated by then. I was just like, this can't be it, yeah. This
Yeah.
I ought to go back at what's happening. Versus for Ashwin, it was like after a long time, he got
Yeah.
a break from work. And he really used that time to kind of spend time with Eshaan, chill with him. And they formed a beautiful bond. Not to say that I'm not around, I'm there in the picture, but my core energy was very agitated.
Right.
I think I was angry all the time. I felt like, was having a child the right decision because I lost that time. Now I'm losing this. What happens
Yeah.
after COVID? I'd switched careers. I was not at a very established point when I took the break. So is it like going back to square one? What's going to happen? Is work going to come my way? So I think my energy was very different to what he brought to the table with Ishan in those early years.
Hmm.
And that surely played out in many ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
that answers your question about how is Ashwin. But Ashwin is very present in the moments with Ishan, and they have a beautiful, beautiful bond. Yeah. Sometimes maybe because I'm the artist and I have those eyes,
Yeah.
I look at them and they're a whole movie in themselves. Like
Oh.
there are mornings when they both listen to music. Ishan in many ways talks like Ashwin, looks like Ashwin. So it's like I have two clones of the same who kind of who I interact with. I think he also has some of Ashwin's beautiful values. Like Ashwin is very kind. He's
Yeah.
very moralistic. This is right. This is wrong. You must always do the right thing. I'm more like वो situation में जो तुम्हें right लगे कर लेना. But Ashwin is about no, but this is right, this is wrong. And I think that's great because we both as people have two very, very different points of view on life. And I think it's amazing that we can give both of that to Ishan.
Yeah.
And I think it could be confusing at times, but it
Yeah.
also gives him very different perspectives to arrive at the same point, and maybe he'll pick for him in every situation what works for him. Right.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I think we're both very different in our own parenting ways, but I can definitely say that he's the most stable, he's the most sorted, he's the more like I can be a chaos of emotions and go like, but he'll be like very rock steady and he won't get too affected or bothered by
Yeah,
my
yeah.
sort of swerving energy.
Yeah, the beautiful, beautiful. And tell us about any non-parenting rituals or, things that you do as a couple that help you stay connected, beyond co-parenting.
I really feel like now you're being my therapist. Um, I think in the last year, we've made, both Ashwin and me have made a lot more conscious effort to say that, Ishan is today at a point where he's a lot more independent.
Yeah,
He's a lot more capable of taking care of himself in many ways from the perspective of our inputs.
yeah,
So we've had a chance to step back a lot more. Um, we've also in the last year really asked each other that, like what you said, our only input of this marriage or companionship can't be that we're great parents.
yeah,
What else is there that drives us?
yeah.
I'm, consciously saying that, okay, we have to make more time for each other.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for us to sit across a table and not be parents to Ishan?
Yeah,
Just as two people who have grown leaps and bounds and miles, but have we checked in with each other on that?
yeah.
So I think a little few small things like just last week we decided to take a 4-day trip without Ishan.
Oh,
One
you
of
did?
our first, yeah, one of our first. It took us 6.5, and we both have our own sets of anxiety
Yeah.
because I feel like we both travel so much that
Hmm.
the little time we have, I'm just like, यार उसको छोड़ के क्यों जाएंगे?
Hmm.
I think it was a good decision because I think to get 4 days where you're just with each other
Hmm.
and just trying to connect in a space that's not your home. Because
Yeah.
even at home now, even if Ishan, like the good thing that I have is that I have the support of my parents who are very close by.
Hmm.
So we do have the option of that he can go and spend a weekend there or stay over there. But even if he goes, sometimes we are those loser parents who by Saturday evening are like, come back, now come back. So, so I think, and then if you're at home, no, then you also get into that zone of chores, and it's a weekend, and what else you have to do for the house, and there's a ton of pending lists, right?
Yeah.
All. So I think to go away from this space, go to a neutral place, just try to spend some time with each other has been nice. I think even things like, just simple things like having a dinner or stepping out for a coffee, we weren't doing because everything was structured around Ishan's routine.
Yeah.
So we know, I'd automatically gone into this habit that I have to sleep at 9:30 because
Yeah.
Ishan has to wake up early for school. So I have my dinner very early, I wind down very early. So a lot of socializing I consciously kind of removed from my life because for me, it was like risk benefit. I was like, this benefit of this night out is nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's riskier to lose my sleep than
Yeah.
the next day and da da da. I can get very, I don't know, transactional and calculative about it. So I completely stopped doing all of that.
Yeah.
But today, I think I'm a lot more open. I think the word is that I'm a little more open and I can be a very, very structured person.
Hmm.
I have lists and to-do lists and more to-do lists, and it's never ending.
Yeah.
And I feel calmer when I'm in control. So I think these are again issues that I've been working with.
Yeah.
Sometimes knowing that in parenting, in a marriage, you have to also learn to flow.
Yeah.
Maybe I have this plan for the day, but आज वो कुछ होगा नहीं.
Hmm.
I have to allow for that.
Hmm.
But the earlier Lakshmi would resist that a lot. I'd be very sour and pissed off. Like, one day Ishan has not gone to school
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Ashwin would just be like, okay, let's go for breakfast.
Hmm. How can I?
So for me, it would be like, yeah, but I have my day and I have to go to the studio and I've done this, and then I'm worried about why is Ishan not going to school? Why has he? I'm psychoanalyzing him. Why is he not going to do? And I get a lot into solving.
Yeah.
My something that I've learned about myself is that for me, under stress, under duress, if I lose control, the way I get it back is I will go into problem solving.
Hmm.
Acha, so what is wrong with Eshaan? Why didn't he go to school? Do I have to change the school? Do
Hmm.
I have to make more effort with play dates? Did I not do this? Did I not do that? And I'm going to da 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 da. Was the last one to just be like, okay, he didn't go.
Hmm.
What can we do for him in the moment? Let's
Hmm.
just make it a fun day for him and let's go get breakfast and let's do something fun. But I can't arrive there immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, the journey is much shorter
Yeah.
and speed is much shorter, where I'll be like, okay, theek hai.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. But otherwise, for me, it's a lot more about, okay, there's a structure, there's a discipline. Missing school is not an option. I have things like in a month, I have to at least schedule two play dates. Did I go have coffee with two school moms or other moms? And I'm this maniac when it comes to all that. And
Yeah.
then there's Ashwin, like, who's just like, listen, he'll make friends. Whether you make that effort or not, he'll make friends. And if he's making friends because you are making the effort, those are not friends he needs.
Yeah.
But we have these ideological differences where he's very like laissez-faire, like it'll happen and we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. And I'm constantly like lists and driving and structure. So I think he's the more fun parent.
Yeah.
I'm the more like this is the week menu, this is the classes, this is what we should do, and this is the play date, and this is what am I doing to fulfill his social needs, his emotional needs, his intellectual needs. So I am that. So
Yeah.
obviously I'm not the more present fun parent,
Yeah.
but I think then somebody has to do this part also, no?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. This is what keeps the wheel running. Hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me, Lakshmi, you've talked about how chaotic your emotional, energy is, and how chaos rules your world in a lot of ways. But has there been a moment when you surprised yourself with how calm or intuitive you were as a parent?
So I think, see, chaos rules I don't know if chaos. So for I think the first year it was a lot of chaos because everything that hit me, I was like, I have no bloody idea what to do.
Yeah.
Everything was so foreign and everything was so new. And I think for a personality like mine, looking back, I always feel like because I am a certain kind of personality, I feel like if there is an input and I'm doing everything right for the input, then there has to be a certain kind of output.
Yeah.
First year of motherhood, just like destroys that theory or that
Mhm.
physics and chemistry and biology of it in every way.
Yeah.
So basic things like when I couldn't feed my child,
Yeah.
it just messed with my head a lot. I was like, What am I doing wrong?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then everybody around me, my mother is like, हमारा तो ऐसे ही हो जाता था.
Ah.
Aunt is like, I've never heard of this. You
Yeah.
just get the baby to the breast and they drink milk. What is this? How
Yeah.
can you not know how to do it? So I think for me, it would really be like, but, I don't know, what am I doing wrong? Somebody
Yeah.
tell me, what should I do to correct this? Like, my brain is not understanding.
Yeah.
You told me eat this, you told me do this. I'm doing it, but
Yeah.
this is not happening. And then we had the whole colic issue.
Mm.
It was like hours and hours of crying, and at some point again, I was like, what? I'm just feeling like I can't control anything.
Yeah.
There's no solution I can come up with that makes it go away.
Yeah.
So that for a personality like mine was very, very difficult to understand. कि
Yeah.
there is no cause and effect to it.
Yeah.
जो हो रहा है इसके कुछ लॉज है नहीं.
Hmm. Hmm.
तुम्हें ऐसा बच्चा क्यों मिला जिसको नहीं आता है दूध पीने, जो नहीं सोता है, ये जो चीजें नहीं करता, अब इसके कोई उत्तर है नहीं.
Hmm.
Right? I can speculate, I can think, but
Hmm.
I would be so hard on myself saying that,
Yeah.
but I've done this, and then why me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I failing at this?
Yeah.
Seems like such a normal task for millions of other mothers.
Yeah.
Till I found a lactation consultant, till I found a community, and then I was like, okay, this is normal. At any point in the night, there was some woman who was talking about something similar I was going through, and then I felt like little like, okay, मैं normal हूँ. ये हो
Hmm.
रहा है. ये ठीक
Hmm.
है. It's just that the people around me have not seen it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't make me the odd one out.
Yes.
But it took some time, and also I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know that I had to seek help on multiple friends, and help was available,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So for a personality like that, that first year was chaotic in that sense. But I think once I kind of crossed that year, I was a lot calmer because I
Mm.
realized that on this journey, unlike work,
Mm.
like your other parts of life where you can neatly tidy it and compartmentalize it, and you can have some math too. If I put in this much work, my input is this much, my output will be that much. That's not going to work here.
Yeah. Mm.
Uh, I also quickly realized that, this guilt,
Yeah.
um, which can also be another side to the chaos,
Yeah.
uh, is something that is almost like propaganda for a mother that's all around.
Yeah.
So I said, I can't be 100% mother and 100% artist on all days.
Yeah.
I just can't. There will be some days that I'm a 60% mother,
Mm.
80% artist.
Mm.
Some days I can only be a 30% mother,
Yeah.
but I might be a 90% artist, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to fulfill all of my roles as much as I want to, and be able to keep it all going.
Yeah.
And I was striving for that.
Mm.
And that was really taking a toll on me in many ways, mentally, physically. And I think then there was something really interesting that I had seen or read, and I can't remember from where, this was explained by a woman, a mother, who said that, what it's important to recognize that as a woman, you're throwing a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware and you have to know which balls are plastic balls and which balls are glass balls,
Yeah.
right? So if the plastic balls fall, it's fine. You can
Yeah.
pick them up and throw them up in the air again.
Yeah.
With the glass balls, you can't do that, right? If they
Mm.
fall, then they break.
Yeah.
So when you start each day, each month, each week, you kind of have to know that what are the balls in the air. There are some for that month, that week, that day, maybe that those glass balls, which is
Yeah.
a deadline or a project you definitely have to turn in, they can't fall.
Yeah.
So maybe you will let two, three plastic balls fall, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
That's also been a journey for me.
Mm.
Uh, by the time Eshaan reached about 3.5 years, I really had to embrace this version of who I am in my multiple roles, and know
Mm.
that I can't be fulfilling all those to the perfection levels that I want to, because I'm only driving myself, my health, my head into a bad space.
Yeah.
So I think that's for me the journey from chaos into some level of calm. And the other thing is, Eshaan is a very, very calm boy. His energy is like, again, it could be that I think my amazing boy is so magical. But I feel like he's this old soul who's
Hmm.
come back. So he has this very, again, calm, grounding energy that automatically, in many ways, more than what I do for him, I think he does for me. The
Oh.
situation kind of, never gets really that agitating as he's growing up.
Yeah.
Um, so I think with with many sort of factors, I've reached a place where today, like I say, it's actually very beautiful in the sense that we are both like adults. If he doesn't agree with something, he'll tell me.
Hmm.
If I don't agree with, I tell him. Or,
Hmm.
like he'll tell me, like if I like force him to eat some fruits or something, he's like, you're not my body, na? So you don't
Oh.
know what this feels like to eat this fruit when I don't want to eat it right now. And I respect you, right? When you tell me you don't want to do something. Like
Hmm.
all these examples, like he'll be like, I know you don't like cats. I don't force you to go touch a cat. So you can't force me to eat
Lakshmi, you don't
banana.
like cats?
I don't
You're
like.
married to Ashwin?
Yeah, I don't like cats, and both my husband and son love cats, and that
Yeah.
is why he keeps bringing this up. To anything, his example is, we know you don't like cats, but we don't tell you to do it. So how can you tell me to do it? And even the other day, he told me something about because he and Ashwin love music and they
Yeah.
listen to a lot of music, and I don't.
Yeah.
And their constant grouse with me is that every time we travel, I make them do a lot of art stuff. So whether
Huh.
it's museums and, galleries. So they were like the last holiday we went to, we literally just went to Venice because you wanted to see the Venice Biennale for 4 days. But we
Yeah.
did it for you. So
Yeah.
Ishan also told me, we did it, right, Mama, because you wanted to do. But now we're asking you to come to a concert and you won't. So it was
Yeah.
something to do with, will you come for a Guns N' Roses concert? I was like, this is a bit extreme because A, I've not heard even one of their songs. I don't like it, so I'm not coming. So they both had the argument like how we are open to your artistic experiences. Music is a form of art, but you seem to be completely closed.
Yeah.
And Ishan was leading the argument, saying that how can that be okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really like talking to an adult, right?
Yeah.
So he assimilates everything and he's come to this stage where in an argument he'll pull all that up and tell you, but if you told me this and this, but then how does that work? So
Yeah.
I also have to really walk and toe the line
Yeah.
that I show him, then I have to say that that's what I'm also embodying as a human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think parenting in that way, in its own way, it asks you to pull up your socks and look at yourself in the mirror in the most rawest, barest manner
Yeah.
and realize that whatever you're standing for, you're going to be tested. And however
Absolutely.
hard that testing gets, you have to be able to kind of withstand that and still hold that ground, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, in many ways, I feel like it's an experience that how many times in life do you get an experience like this where it breaks you, it molds you, it rebuilds you, it breaks you again. And there's a little being always watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and unlike any other relationship, you feel like presenting the best version for this little being.
Yeah.
You might not do it with your family, you might not do it with your spouse,
Hmm.
might actually do it in zero relationships, but with your own child, and when you have your own little one, um, I think for your own sort of selfish reasons,
Hmm.
you want to be the best version of yourself that you portray to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that has been for me the journey of that chaos to even saying, I don't know if it's I'm at full calm, but I think I'm a lot more, what do I say? I'm a lot more assured
Hmm.
in my parenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, have I made gut decisions, intuitive decision? I'm sure I am in the everyday. But again, to give you an example, we're going through a big decision right now about something to do with Ishan's school.
Hmm.
Just this morning, I was telling Ashwin, I'll never know if I'm 100% right or if I'm 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Um, I won't know.
Hmm.
I can only say that as a gut feeling, this is what I'm feeling about the situation right now.
Yeah.
And this feeling will translate into an action that we take, and that action will have a monumental impact on our child.
Yeah.
And that's scary,
Yeah.
right? Because with most other decisions you make in life, at work, at home, there's some room where you can undo it,
Yeah.
redo it, you can edit it. You can't really, you don't get as many chances with parenting.
Yeah.
You'll get enough, but there are also enough that that kind of defines the trajectory for your child.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what you thought as a parent was best for your child. And
Absolutely.
that's a bit overwhelming and scary, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
And it's also like also feeling like you very little control. Like, are you doing what's right for this little being,
Yeah.
not even coming to his own?
Yeah.
You'll go back to you'll deflect to points in your life and your parents did something, and in hindsight, which is what most
Yeah.
in hindsight it's amazing to say ये होता और वो होता और मेरी मम्मी ने ये किया होता और पापा ने, but उसकी कोई मतलब नहीं है ना.
हाँ, नहीं किया मतलब जो है वो है ना.
Correct. And I think that it's also that, like, for our parents, they did what they did with the
Yeah.
resources they had, the information they had, the life circumstances, and their own experiences.
Yeah.
I think it's harder for this generation of parents because we have so much access to information.
Yeah.
I think we uphold ourselves also a lot more.
Hmm.
right? We
Hmm.
also have that sense of, like what I was saying earlier. If these are my ideologies, if these
Yeah.
are my principles, then what is it that translates to my child?
Yeah.
And also be cognizant that you can't sort of envelop your child with everything you are. You also
Yeah.
have to give that little space and room for him to develop his own sense of self.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a fine balance here, and it comes with its own set of, I don't know. I used to get a lot of sleepless nights. I still do. I worry about all these things quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a lot calmer. I feel
Hmm.
like what's right will happen to him.
Hmm.
I might not. I think what I've also embraced is I'll never be 100% right. I'll never be 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Pretty much know that one way or the other, my kid might end up in therapy bitching about me. How did I do this? So I'm like, in the moment, what feels best, right? And with
Yeah.
the amount of information, knowledge I have, I can take a decision.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And let's talk about today, Lakshmi. Where are you right now in your life journey? Not just as a mother, a partner, but as Lakshmi. What's unfolding for you?
Hmm. I think it's been an interesting year. I mean, almost half the year is over. In some days, I feel like it's gone by so fast, and sometimes I feel like it's gone by so slow. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's been a bit of challenging for me if you're asking me in the now from a health perspective, from the perspective of a woman who's now actually her body is transforming as I'm entering my 40s. Again, something that nobody prepares you for.
Yeah.
So many things that I'm feeling, these changes in my body, in my head. I'm really feeling like there is something that my body is going through. Like it's almost like it's coming out of its own skin to grow a new skin. And it's a new kind of journey I'm into. But I have very little access to resources, information, knowledge to aid me in this journey.
Right.
And it's been a bit frustrating for me in that sense because some of the health issues that are coming up, I just constantly feel like, it's been like these aha moments. I wish somebody had told me about this when it started. Or this constant propaganda from Instagram to everywhere about, this pressure of 40 is the new 30,
Yeah.
50 is the new 40,
Yeah.
that, right? So I don't know. I think I have a more assured sense of self where also I don't in many ways give two fucks.
Hmm.
No, more than ever in my life, I'm also feeling like this is the most assured sense of self I am having and feeling in ever.
Yeah.
Uh, Today, this version of Lakshmi, she does exactly what she wants to do.
Hmm.
She's not doing anything that's in compulsion because of validation, because of peer pressure. So I think in many ways that there's that one freeing sense of, I'm so sure and
Yeah.
confident in myself,
Yeah.
despite possibly not being at my fittest,
Hmm.
not being at my, vanity wise, somebody who was very vain.
Hmm.
And you used to seek vanity. Those are things that kind of, I've taken a softer view on.
Hmm.
Today, for me, the definition of quality of life is radically different from what a 29-year-old me would have wanted for me in the next decade.
Right.
So I think in the today, I think I feel beautifully liberated. I feel amazingly confident as a woman, as a
Hmm.
mother, as an artist. I have a lot of positivity that I carry within me, despite my challenges, knowing that I don't know, I think it's this little sense of assuredness that I've grown into.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything has its own time and place.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen. I have to allow things to happen as much as I like structure and control and lists. Sometimes that's not how it unfolds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it's possibly the best version that I have kind of edited myself into, and I already feel like it's going to get better from here.
Amen.
I'm actually looking forward to like what does the next decade look like for me.
Wow. Wow.
because, yeah, because I'm on this journey, I feel like of growing, of learning, of unlearning, more than learning, unlearning so much.
Yeah.
Um, that I'm actually very excited. I keep feeling like uh, if this is what is, if this is who I am today,
Yeah.
can get only like better in another 5 years, 10 years, because
Yeah.
for sure I can't go back,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At any other age, you have lots of options. You can go back, you can go sideways, you can swerve and come back to the same spot. But because I'm so assured today of who I am, the journey can only be forward.
Yeah. 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 And do you have I mean, since you are a person of structure, so do you have a typical day in your life?
For sure.
What does it look like?
A typical day for me, but in this year, like I was saying, I've been facing a lot of challenges with my health,
Hmm.
which has also asked me to reconsider some of these questions.
Yeah.
When something in you is not working optimally, do you also then question what is the point of a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I think the motto for this year has been a lot more of self-love,
Hmm.
kindness towards the self, to learn to flow. At least every morning I tell myself that, I want to breathe in more faith and
Hmm.
to breathe out more fear,
Uh-huh.
let go of control. And yeah, so to start my day, how do I start my day? I usually wake up by around 6:15. I really like that 1 hour in my mornings before I wake Eshaan up that I get to myself. So I usually journal, I
Hmm.
read. And some of this has become so non-negotiable for me. That's another problem with me. If there's some structure, if that gets broken,
Yeah.
even a little bit, it agitates me. And that's also something I'm learning to work through.
Yeah.
That these things can't have control over me.
Yeah.
Right? The point of these are also tools and they assist me in my day, but they can't become larger than me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a tendency to do that, to
Hmm.
hold on to my sense of momentum for the day. So I do that. Then I usually wake up Ishan by 7:15 and we get ready for school. Then we go to school. One of us, between me and Ashwin, one of us usually drops Ishan. So we
Hmm.
get that 20 minutes in the car with him, which is
Yeah.
also amazing because he's very chatty in the morning because he's the freshest. Then I come back from school and usually if I have a workout, I'd go directly for a workout and then I head into the studio by 9:30.
Yeah.
And I'm usually in the studio all day, almost till 4 or 5,
Uh-huh.
depending on what Ishan's schedule for the day looks like. And then the evenings I keep free. I really want to chill with Ishan for all three of us to have some time together. So usually by dinner time, which is early for us because he goes to bed early, dinner time is usually between 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we all sit and play something. We play a board game or
Uh-huh.
Mm, now he's in this habit of reading a lot. He loves reading. So now he's obsessed with opening a book even while reading. Or we talk about something he's reading. And then one of us again does bedtime with him. Now he's transitioned to his own room and his own bed.
Hmm.
But he's still, and he can read on his own. There are some days that he just picks up a book that he wants to read and he goes to sleep. And that was also such a parenting aha moment for us.
Yeah.
Because, I think, there are those few moments in parenting when you look at each other and we go like, we've done such a great job.
Yeah.
So we actually, and it all happened so organically, we actually moved homes and then we kind of pumped Ishan up with the idea that he's going to get his own room and his own room that was going to be designed a certain way.
Hmm.
And he loves reading in general. So I told him how I'm going to make his bookshelf so it's more accessible to him before his bedtime or whenever in the day. But he's taken to it so beautifully that there are some mornings and weekends when we sleep in late and we wake up and we go to his room. He's just on his bed reading.
Oh, wow. What a sight.
Absolutely, those are those delightful moments when you're like, okay, wow. And he can be absorbed in a book like kuch bhi ho raha, and I'm just like, chalo, even if I fuck up all the other 99 things, ये एक चीज तो कर ली ना.
Yeah.
The other day I got a message from this parent, this school mom. She said, Lakshmi, I just wanted to reach out to tell you that her son was telling her that something happened in school
Hmm.
and kids were bullying this kid.
Hmm.
And it seems only Eshaan stood up for him.
Oh, wow.
And she said, I just wanted to reach out and tell you because I'm so grateful that, my son has a friend like this who could stand up for him.
Wow.
And I remember forwarding it to Ashwin and saying that what an amazing boy we have raised.
Yeah.
Because it's in these little things, I don't care honestly about the rest. Like
Hmm.
whether he's going to be great academically in sports, in activities. But these little traits, which are, those formative character building traits,
Yeah.
when you see that, when you watch that, and when other people tell you,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just so heartwarming because that's when you're like, okay, chalo,
Yeah.
something we've done right on this journey.
Yeah.
Some parts of it feel like, because again, for me, unlike any other process, there is no input and feedback mechanism. ना. ये feedback अब कब 18 पे मिलेगी या मिलेगी भी नहीं.
Right.
I used to keep chasing that. Like, how do I know that I'm doing a good job? Like, I
Hmm.
wanted some sort of validation, and there is none.
Yeah.
Even if you kind of in some illusionment believe there's actually none. But
Hmm.
little things come your way, or you watch something and you're like, oh, that's probably a little tiny seed that I sowed so early
How beautiful.
that now you can see it kind of get form and
We.
leaves and form its flowers, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, yeah, sorry, I keep digressing a lot. So coming back to the day, then we do bedtime, and our bedtime ritual is also beautiful. We usually read two books,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ishan has something that he calls a mouth story because the story comes out of your mouth. It's not
Okay.
from the book. So it's two books that we read, one mouth story. Then we chat a little. Then I usually do manifestations with him
Okay.
now that he's getting older, like he gets really irritated about. And I try and tell him we're going to say something new today.
Hmm.
Some days, he'll do it for me, I'll do it for him, and he'll say the most amazing things. Okay, it's just too cute and beautiful. And then we do something called one thing I noticed today.
Hmm.
So he has to tell me one thing, and I also have to say. It
Okay.
could be anything. It could
Hmm.
be anything under the sun. And I think I started that practice for myself in my journal when I journal. Usually at night, I also do a nighttime journal just before like a gratitude journal. I usually set in this exercise for myself
Yeah.
about one thing I noticed today.
Hmm.
Which means I also felt like at some point that because of all the chaos of the outside world also, I feel like in a busy city like Bombay, you also stop seeing and
Yeah.
looking, observing.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to force myself to pay a little more attention. So I used to do this one thing I noticed, and then I started doing it with Ishan very early.
Hmm.
Some of his answers are so amazingly amazing because what he notices in the day, it also brings your attention to how some of those things are so obvious to you.
Yeah.
But for a little child, those things just are big, momentous things in his life.
Give us some examples.
I'm also in a major brain fog, Neha, because of I don't know age. But I'm trying to think. There are some days that I just sit up and go like, wow. What did he tell me 2 days back? Um, he told me about the flowers that now the new place that we've moved to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this ground floor house. So
Yeah.
there's a little porch outside. There's a lot more green. So he told me how in the summers there are three different kinds of plants that have flowered.
Wow.
And I hadn't actually noticed. And I
Hmm.
notice a lot. I mean, maybe because of my profession,
Yeah.
because of the visuals that I engage in, I'm visually quite aware and I absorb a lot more than a normal person. But this boy absorbs more than me.
Mm.
And that I'd realized very early on, like he could go into a room and he would pick up some obscure camera in some corner of the room that my eye would not have noticed. Or he would come back and draw something about that room and talk to me about it and, like get some specific detail of the architecture, which I had missed.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized he has this amazing eye for these things.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to keep that alive and cultivate it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's when I started doing this with him, and now it's been so many years. He'll
Yeah.
say lots of funny things. Some days he'll be like, every day you tell me to say I'm brave.
Mm.
What if I don't feel like I'm brave? So I said, okay, fair. He said, yeah, because the truth is, today I didn't feel brave.
Mm.
I said, okay, so then tell me, like I'm also trying to teach him the manifestation is not specifically about what we felt today,
Yeah.
is what we want to feel, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a joke. He'll just come to me and say, blah, 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 blah. I am curious, I'm brave, I am strong. Happy? And I'll be like, okay, that works for today. And then
Yeah.
there are other days that he'll think about it and he'll be like, I'm brave about school, even though I don't like school.
Mm.
Or, like he'll put thought to it. He'll assimilate things that he's noticed, what we've told him, and kind of come into the conversation. But he's always been this super curious little child. Like I remember, because you're asking me an example, that book about the caterpillar by Eric Carle.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I remember when he was 3, I think he used to love that book. Like I
Mm.
think kids do.
Yeah.
And then by 3 tosne, he would have heard that story a lot.
Mm.
And one day he asked me that, Mama, why do you think this caterpillar feels like he has to become a butterfly? Why is he not happy being just a caterpillar?
Wow.
That question just blew me because in the moment I could have mouthed the answers in 1,000 ways.
Yeah.
But I just paused because I was like, the process of how he'd kind of come up with that question. Then he followed it up and he said, like, you've told me that it's okay to be whoever you are and you
Yeah.
should be happy about it. But why
Mm.
does this caterpillar feel like it has to be a butterfly that's more beautiful and colorful? So why
Yeah.
don't he just be happy being a caterpillar?
Wow.
Yeah, and I was also like, wow, what is this thought process and where does this come from? So he's always been that curious thinker.
Yeah.
Also, maybe because of what he's been exposed to since being a child, he spends a lot of time in the studio.
Yeah.
He understands that art as a medium of expression is not just the how of the expression, there's a lot of thought to the why.
Yeah.
Um, so I think in his own, I don't think we've done so much. Like me and Ashwin keep talking about it, like, this reading. I'm sure he sees us reading.
Mm.
uh, you know, both of us do read a fair bit. He sees
Mm.
that. I know when he comes to the studio, he sees that how in preparing for a work, and my studio is filled and filled with books.
Mm.
The extent that today he picks up some of those big books also, and maybe he can't understand everything, but he's
Yeah.
because I am reading it or it's on my table, or maybe looks at pictures. And I allow for that. Whatever you take in at that point, theek hai.
Mm.
He's also spent a lot of time in museums and galleries. So I think he has a certain way of how he processes and looks at the world. And I feel that for me as a mother, as an artist, I want to inculcate or continue that. So
Yeah.
we're always playing these little games and things, and he always has a sketch pad.
Mm.
I'll give him these little themes. Like yesterday, we were going in the car somewhere. So he's like, give me a theme. And I said, hope.
Mm.
So it could on some days be as basic as he drew a cookie and he said, my hope today is I get that cookie. Or, some of his artworks, I look at it and I'm just blown and I'm like, that's amazing that a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old could think about it and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there are a lot of times from school, I also get, complaints about how what he draws is completely different from what the rest of the class does.
Yeah.
But I'm always amazed. I look at the teacher and I was like, wow, did he do that? You should celebrate him.
Yeah.
Because it's mind blowing that he thought about it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think for me and Ashwin, you know what? We both celebrate him wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe some of it, like I'm saying, we keep wondering, ki maybe every other kid does it. Maybe they
Yeah.
do it better. But for us in the moment, it's like amazing. You're amazing. You're great.
Mm.
And we kind of boost his confidence like that.
Yeah.
Or, the other day for Mother's Day, he gave me a card. And I didn't realize it why he'd written what he'd written. So anyway, for every card he gives me, he kind of understands that the textile that I work with when my practice is the kasavu, which comes from Kerala. He's understood that it's a certain gold and white. So every card's theme is always gold and white.
Oh.
Always that gold border. So it's so cute. Every card will have that because he thinks I'm obsessed with this material I work with, which maybe I am. But anyway, he wanted to write adjectives for me.
Mm.
So the adjectives were for L. He was trying to spell out Lakshmi and then
Mm.
write an adjective for each. So for L, he wrote luminescence.
Oh.
So I am again blown. I was like, I don't I don't think I knew this word till 10 years back. Or
Yeah.
the context of what to use it in. Then I'm like, he must have heard it somewhere and written it. So then I asked him that, baby, what does this word mean? So he said, shiny, sparkly, just like you are.
Oh.
Again, I was like, these are those few moments when you just stop and you're like, this is all that it counts to or comes down to, and you don't need anything more, you don't need anything less. And it's a beautiful card. Yeah, like he's done L for luminescence, A for amusing, K for kind, S for strong, H for helpful,
Okay.
M for, I'm forgetting, what did he write M for? And I for inspiring.
Oh.
And I told him that night, I said, you know what, baby, I don't need to do any more manifestations because everything you've written for me, if I just say that every day, you
That
know,
is,
that is more than enough because you've given me the best adjectives and he's just learning about adjectives. So now he has that game. He's like, no, you can't say those. You can't copy those. But I've actually put it up in my studio right where I can see it because I
Mm.
feel like when I read that, Neha, it was also like I was thinking, this is another human being who looks at me with such pure eyes.
Yeah.
I am so jaded about myself that I don't think I would put those adjectives for myself.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look in my own gratitude journal or affirmation, it's taken me a long journey to associate myself with these words.
Yeah.
But there's this other little being who sees you every day and at your worst, at your best, at your worstest worst, and maybe still thinks this about you, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Or you're upholding his world in some way, right?
Yeah.
So it was also so heartwarming because I was like, this is how he sees me.
Yeah.
And then there's me, and there is how I see me, which is
Yeah.
such a small, reduced version of that.
Yeah.
So it's so sad that that's what I do to myself. For me,
Mm.
I was also having a conversation with myself, and I was like, it's so amazing and it's so wholehearted in the largeness of how he views me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think any other human, like not even, I mean, no other human in my life would have looked at me like this, right? Or
Yeah.
expressed it like this. So I am so always like, this little boy of mine brings so much sunshine in so many different ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that he tried to spell Lakshmi. I thought he had put random adjectives. So when I was
Oh.
asking him, he said, no, Mama, it's your full name, and against your name, I put one adjective. I said, okay, that makes sense. And then I went back to it because I was like, how did he come up with these exact, whatever his process was?
Yeah.
But I'm always sort of unraveling all of his, more than the output, his process, how does he think? And I think maybe it also comes from me being an artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always say which other sort of process in life gives you another set of eyes.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, having a baby and watch him grow was literally having the privilege of being given another set of eyes.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, your eyes kind of get jaded in a certain way. You're blindsided to a lot of things, how you view, how you see the world. Um, you get in a lot of blinders or you get in a lot of your own subjectivity and you can't unsee it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for an artist who's always trying to chase what you can't see,
Hmm.
I don't think any other experience in my life could have given me that. It was
Yeah.
only because I had a child and through his eyes, I was watching him view the world. I could view the world again.
Yeah. How beautiful is that? I'm getting goosebumps. You know, and Lakshmi, I'm very interested in, in so many things that you've spoken about. How has having Ishan aided or helped you in your creative process as an artist? Because you talked about the second set of eyes, you talk about a new perspective, you talk about so many things. Is there something that that you carry from his life, from his way of looking at things into your artistic process?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the last few years journey, there's a dramatic shift in my process, and I think that's really because in many ways it's the input, it's the conversation of how I am looking at the world through these unfiltered eyes.
Yeah.
And I can see that in my work. I can see that in my process. I can see that in my being. Someone
Hmm.
said earlier, my journey into also becoming who I am today was in many ways a transformative process only possible because of motherhood.
Hmm.
Because nothing shakes you that much into wanting to do better for yourself.
Yeah.
Most other times in life you can passively live and be like, "ठीक है यार."
Hmm.
With your partner, in your marriage, in your with your family, you can be like, मैं यही हूँ.
Hmm.
Take it or leave it, right?
Yeah.
Great motivation for another human being to change, to look at what they're saying. But I think for me, at least personally, once I became a mother, I knew there were a lot of red flags in general in my personality, the way I kind of dealt with the world. But it was not urgent enough for me to do anything about. But
Yeah.
I think post becoming a mother, I really wanted to, like I see that today, those adjectives he says for me, I truly want to embody that for him.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely been for me such a huge part of who I am today as an artist. I carry forth a lot of the conversations that I have with Eshaan, a lot of what we discuss at night. There's one thing I noticed today and his manifestations and the little chatter he brings from his world. Because it's really a peek for me into the unknown, which I can't manifest for myself. And however much I try as an artist to quieten my head, it's not very easy to access.
Yeah.
But I think when at least for me, I had a child, it opened those spaces up a lot more. It also put the urgency on me for me wanting to know myself better, hence heal myself, hence be a better version of myself, hence be more raw, authentic with myself,
Yeah.
hence have a lot more fulfilled creative output.
How beautiful. How beautiful is that? And we are coming to a close of this conversation, Lakshmi. However much I want to keep talking to you, I am also aware of your health. And tell me, if Ishan listens to this episode 20 years from now, 15 years from now, what would you want him to hear or take away about you?
About me, I think I want him to remember his mama as this woman who loved life,
Hmm.
who enjoyed life, who knew how to have fun,
Hmm.
how to flow into a lot of experiences, and really remember me, I think, as this person who truly lived her life.
Yeah.
And I think that comes also from a place where always feel like I think about my mother and I think about my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I think about a lot of it is, mm, I think they have so much regret.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was very conscious and clear. I don't want to be that. And I don't
Hmm.
want to be that for him as a symbol.
Yeah.
I want him to remember me as in whatever capacity I lived, I rode, I celebrated, and I went out with a bang. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, for my last question, if you had to leave our listeners with one truth, one insight that holds you steady in the middle of it all, what would that be?
I think it has to come from being really honest to yourself.
Hmm.
I think there has to be an intent to honestly want to know yourself,
Hmm.
to travel inwards,
Hmm.
to understand what comprises you as you.
Hmm.
Uh, because once you know that for yourself, then nothing around you, no variable, no earth force can shake and take that away from you.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of us, are very confused, lost, because we don't really know who we are, and we've
Hmm.
never committed to that process.
Yeah.
Also, it's scary, it's challenging, it's a lot of work,
Hmm.
it's not easy. But I think if you have a very assured sense of self,
Hmm.
and that sense of self will look very, very different for two people, right?
Absolutely.
We're just these unique beings that are made like that.
Hmm.
But if you're assured in that sense of self, then really anything that we've spoken about, whether it's marriage, whether it's parenthood, whether it's aging, whether it's transforming, um, it all becomes a lot more easier,
Hmm.
because then there are no two fights.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're fighting yourself and the world.
Yeah.
एटलीस्ट जो अपने आप से हम जो रोज झगड़ा करते हैं, अगर
Hmm.
उसमें कुछ हल है कि मैं ये हूँ,
Hmm.
क्या this is my journey, this is who I am, and I accept this, and the forks can be many. I
Hmm.
want to heal from you, I want to transform from you, but this is my pattern, I want to unlearn it. And I think you have to start from that point, which I felt like I arrived very late.
Hmm.
So for a long part of my adult years, there was so much chaos, there was so much confusion, there was so much anger, there was so much guilt
Hmm.
because I didn't know who I am.
Hmm.
Because I didn't know who I am, it's exhausting to also be in a fight with yourself every day.
Yeah.
So, like to answer that earlier question of yours, also, today I'm freed of a lot of those shackles.
Hmm.
This is a short sense of this is who I am, and I have a lot of shortfalls, and I have a lot of things that I don't live up to.
Hmm.
Wish to uphold myself in a larger way, but at least I'm aware that this is where I am in this point of time today,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody can take that away from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think if there's one thing I would leave uh, listeners with would be that, I guess. I think invest a little in yourself.
Hmm.
Means that I know there are a lot of those Instagrammy reels about be friends with yourself and solo trips and I don't know, very capitalized
Yeah.
versions of it. But I'm trying to give you a more spiritual version of it, which is that you really have to know how to be able to be friends with yourself,
Yeah.
your truest self, the dark parts, the unhealed parts, the
Yeah.
childhood parts, the fun parts.
Yeah.
There are so many parts of you,
Yeah.
right? But we've never been able to synthesize it or even compartmentalize it and say that it's okay for all of these parts of me to exist, and this is what makes me me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and we can get very lost, especially in some of these journeys, and not prioritizing ourselves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Parenting is exhausting in its own way, but whatever is your little bits that you do in a day to preserve your sense of identity, this is who I am. This is what I do selfishly, so it be just for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like that flight rule.
Hmm.
If you can't wear the oxygen mask for yourself, you can't fly with anyone else. And I
Yeah.
think the whole unit benefits, to some of what you were asking me, because I went on a journey of trying to find who I am.
Yeah.
emerged for me at the other end was that there was a huge energy shift in me.
Yes.
That energy shift in me changed the energy in my home. That
Yes.
changed the energy in me as a mother, as a wife. And
Mm.
that in many ways transformed my unit itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of power to that.
Mm.
Now I really seem like some big spiritual leader, but
Yeah. We should give you a name. Mm.
no, yeah, no, I don't want to sound like those Instagram obsessed self-help gurus. But long story short, I'm just saying that, if you don't know who you are,
Hmm.
then you don't know who you want to be in the world,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then everything is kind of difficult in its
Yeah.
own. So I think even for me as a mother, as a parent with Ishan, I think it's really important for me to instill that in him.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I was telling you, conversations, what we do, rituals, books that we read, it's really to guide him into that, the world is going to tell you a million things.
Yeah.
And especially now that he's 6.5, I can see that,
Yeah.
labels
Yeah.
and what kind of person is Ishan, labels that come from his teachers, from his friends, things that his friends are telling him, peer pressure. But I think my attempt and intent with him always is that, you can be as unique as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Know that this is who I am
Yeah.
and have the strength to be able to walk that line and to defend it,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I keep telling him we as parents are going to always support you, but you have to have that firm belief, and that takes work in
Yeah.
multiple. So, just to end, also, I'll give you an example. We also, as parents, do so many classes, no, back to
Yeah.
back because we're so busy. So, we think better than having to think about how will I meaningfully engage him every evening. It's like class, and I've also done it.
Yeah.
I think last year, both me and Ashwin are like, what are we doing? We have overscheduled this child, and he was genuinely like getting wiped out. But I think as a child, because he's a little aware, he had the words to come and tell us, like, I don't want to do so much. I don't like this, this, this. I don't want to do this in a week. I want to do this. And then we all sat down as a family and we said, okay, we'll commit to a few things, but we'll
Mm.
commit to that for the year.
Yeah.
You can't just flit in and out.
Yeah.
And I think to give an example, so something to do with some gymnastics. He was doing capoeira and he'd been
Hmm.
doing that for a long time. And then, like all children and like all adults, we have days na कि नहीं मुझे मन नहीं हुआ आज करना. I'm feeling lazy. I'm feeling bad. I'm tired. It's been a long day. But you know what I always leave him with, and I'm not going to let you quit on a bad day.
Bad day.
You
Hmm.
come to me on your best day and you tell me, Mama, I don't feel like doing basketball. I don't feel like doing capoeira. I'll be okay.
Hmm.
But this can't be a process where you commit and then you come out as and when you feel like. Because I think for me as a parent, these are also some questions like how do I build the resilience muscle?
Yeah.
How do I build the integrity of character muscle?
Hmm.
What is it that in my everyday, what are the conversations we are having? What is it that we are both, that I can hold space for both of us? That he can,
Yeah.
like I told you, he'll tell me when I have a double-sided take on things,
Yeah.
right? And also pull me up for those things. Don't you
Absolutely.
do
Yeah.
this? But yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that also respect of both ways what happens.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I
No,
went
you
off.
did. You did, Lakshmi. Lakshmi, thank you so much.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you. This was a pleasure.
No, but this
Glad that
was
after multiple cancellations, we could do it.
yes, and thank you for showing up with this kind of softness, this clarity, and the kind of reflective energy that you have. I think, I think I am taking away so much from our conversation,
That's
and
so
I'm
sweet.
sure our listeners are too. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you so much, Nia.
Mm. And to our dear listeners, thank you for sharing space with us today. If this conversation resonated, please do share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to Parenthood wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. Remember, parenting isn't about getting it all right. It's about staying present, holding space for growth in your child and in yourself. Until next time, this is Neha Garg sending you love, breath, and a reminder that you are not alone. Bye bye.